Want to crack the code to more sales? Study your audience. And I don't mean just knowing their age or their location. I mean really understanding the deep interests and what actually pushes them to buy. Most marketers and creators will tweak their products, polish their offers, and spend weeks reworking pages, but they skip the one thing that matters most. That's really understanding your audience's behavior. The real problem isn't your product or your offer. It's that you're talking logic when your audience buys based off emotion. So in this video, I will break down the 6 emotional triggers that quietly control every purchase you get. He uses it in the first 3 seconds of his video.
It took me 10 years to learn this, but I'll teach it to you in less than 1 minute.
And so does he.
Just picked up the keys to your next house or apartment. Here's the things you got to do right away.
So why are so many creators using this one behavioral trigger at the start of each of their videos? It's statements that invite curiosity. That is the first trigger I'm going to talk about. It is how you turn passive audiences into engaged audiences by capturing their attention. And in 2026, it is even more difficult. So back in 2007, there was research done that estimated your average consumer sees up to 5,000 ads per day. And back then, most of the people in that survey said that marketing was out of control. They felt completely overwhelmed by that volume of marketing touchpoints. Fast forward to now, and customers typically see 10,000 marketing messages every day. So the ability to capture attention is so important now and becoming even more difficult. So difficult that you have brands creating their own media agencies, social media series just to capture that attention and cut through the noise. So here's when you use curiosity. In the first 10 words or your call to action for a series or social media post. You want to use it in the first 10 words in your ad copy, maybe with a visual hook. Email subject lines, lead with curiosity. And on low-risk products, think pickle ice cream, for example. Introducing curiosity in the product description is a good move, but you don't want to use that on high-risk products. Like, I don't want to be curious about the car I'm about to purchase, but ice cream's okay. Now, the fastest way to lower buying resistance and get more sales is to show people that people like them are already belonging here, already finding success. And why is this true? It's because people crave seeing themselves in your brand, and they want you to show them that they belong. And that belonging drives connection, which leads to know, like, and trust. So there is a framework called Maslow's hierarchy of needs that explains that when we are first brought into this world as little human beings, we have physiological needs, food, water, shelter. Those are our basic needs that need to be met in order for us to thrive and feel like healthy, contributing members of society. And then as you mature, our emotional needs grow. So we want things like safety, love and belonging, esteem, and so on. And so that can be applied to your marketing messages as well. So Alex Hormozi does a really good job of this in his $100 million offers. And he really believes that 80% of sales conversations is about mirroring your customers' pain points. What is the core need that you need to address on that sales call? 20% of the sales call is actually selling the solution. So you need to mirror your audience's language and their struggles and signal, hey, you're one of us. I understand what you're struggling with. So the role of community is becoming even more important now to signal belonging, safety, and those higher order needs that your customers are feeling. So an example that you can try is shift your copy from "we help people do X" to "people like you are doing X." and see what kind of results you get and let me know in the comments. Because belonging lowers resistance when nobody feels like they want to be an outsider. Okay, listen. The moment I stopped explaining what I do and started showing who it already worked for, everything changed. Explaining the importance of audience insights and market research is somewhat boring, but showing the success it gives to other brands and other founders is what really helped sales start flowing in my business. So trust is borrowed, especially when you're using social media as a primary tool to get your new leads. Trust is borrowed on that platform, but social proof is how you can earn trust fast. So use reviews, real results, and case studies to show that you have demonstrated success for other people. Another client of mine, I was working on a landing page of theirs, and I noticed that they didn't really say who they were or why people should buy from them before showing the price of the product. It was a course they were selling. And I said, you need to have some sort of social proof before you reveal the price point so that people know that you are credible and why they should buy from you. So that's just an example of showing proof really early in the customer journey. So there are 3 types of proof that calm hesitation and get people more likely to buy from you: volume, authority, and similarity. Let me give you some examples. Volume is like, I interviewed over 4,000 customers in the US and they said this. That volume number, the 4,000, gives more social proof and credibility to what I'm about to say. Another thing is authority. So credibility hacking, like using a household brand. I had a post about Lunchables that performed really well recently, and it's because Lunchables is a household name. So that is credibility hacking by showing something that's done by a brand that people already trust and are familiar with, and then leading with the message that you would like to present to them. And then the third type of proof that calms hesitation is similarity. So when people see others like them being successful in your product, with your product or your service, then they believe that they can be successful too. Hey, all these behavioral hacks sound great until you try to actually apply them to your everyday work. Most people get stuck. They overthink, overplan, and lose momentum waiting for the perfect system. But progress comes from clear direction, not perfect plans, which is why I built something to make it easier to apply these insights and principles into your business. It's a free resource at guidancegroveinc.com designed to help you turn emotional purchase drivers into simple step-by-step action plans that really boost sales. It's concise, actionable, and built for marketers who don't have time to waste on guesswork. The link is in the video description. Okay, for anyone who is wanting more sales without changing your product or your offer, stop asking, why aren't they buying? And start asking, what would make this feel risk-free? People don't fear buying. We live in America in 2026, and this is a highly commercial country. They don't fear buying. They feel regretting what they've bought. So brands need to use guarantees, free trials, or a no questions asked returns policy to calm that anxiety and boost trial rates. This is a really good way to get people to try your offer for the first time, because psychology says when the risk is off the table, action feels safe. Have you ever noticed that people start to lose their mind every fall to get pumpkin spice lattes? I can't be the only one who's noticed that, right? It's not that people suddenly crave pumpkin spice, it's that they fear missing out on it. That craze comes from fear of missing out, not so much that they can't live without pumpkin spice. Because psychology says people want what feels rare, even if they didn't want it before. And that's called scarcity. It's what people are leaning into when they use limited time flavors or only 3 left or closing tonight. That is an opportunity marketers can use to drive purchases. One thing that is true now more so than ever before is that you cannot use scarcity flippantly. You can't fake it. So once you use scarcity principle, you need to make sure that it is real limitations, or you're going to lose the trust of your audience. So only use this tactic when there is a real limitation on the time, the amount of inventory, or so on that you have. But scarcity is a really good tactic because it gives a consequence to your audience waiting and pushes them off of the fence. So using scarcity to drive purchases is very closely related to this next one, loss aversion, because people don't move when you promise them an upside. They actually move when you show them what they are missing by waiting. So people fear losing out more than they want to win. And you can use that bias with your customers or maybe with your senior leadership by spotlighting what they're missing by not taking action, whether it's time, money, status, or results. You are really adding a bit of a pain point to them waiting around. And so they are more likely to take action. It's exactly why copy that says you're leaving money on the table performs much better than copy that says get better ROI, because people don't want to miss out on something. And so they're more likely to take action and make that purchase when you highlight and quantify the loss, what they're losing by waiting out. The bottom line is this: your audience is already showing you what to do. Every click, every comment, every action is all feedback that they are giving you. Their behavior tells you what they're interested in. It shows you what to use to build trust and what makes them leave. When you learn to read that, selling becomes more consistent and predictable. If you want a real-world example of this, watch my next video on how Gen Z buys with their values, not just their wallet. I'll show you how modern buyers think, what actually earns their trust, and how to use those signals to close more deals.